Hello, my name's Jim, and I've been inspired by Lane and Henrik to give this Let's Playing a go. And first thing to say, I suppose, is kudos to them. I found it a lot harder than I perhaps thought I would. It's harder than it looks. It's also a lot more work, and I'm actually now re-recording the intro to the game that I've started. Basically, I started editing the videos, and the sound's a bit iffy to begin with. I was just using my work headset. Changed that, and I think it's a little bit better. Also found that there's a video where I'm gonna have to try to work out how to add the sound afterwards because when I was playing it, I had quite a bad cold, so decided not to subject you to that. There's also a video where green capture freezes for some reason. So you can still see what's happening, or what has happened, but it just doesn't quite work properly for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, something like that. I can't quite remember. Actually, the other thing to say is that apart from the technical issues, I also play very slowly, particularly early on. So I think probably what I have been doing to some extent, and will probably do a bit more of, is play sort of shorter turn sets, so I can think offline rather than um, subject you to me sitting there staring at the screen, not saying anything, and then just kind of weld the videos together. Um, Hopefully, I'll be able to do it in a slightly slicker way as I get used to it, but I hadn't decided to do that until now. So some of the earlier videos are going to have intros halfway through or footage of me saving the game and closing it because um, I hadn't really thought about that at the time, and also probably wasn't really sure which videos I was going to merge with which. But anyway, I suppose the point is you're not going to be watching the production values, but it, from what I've played so far, it's an interesting map. So hopefully you'll be able to put up with all of those issues and still enjoy it. The other thing is I think I'm going to redo the sort of the spiel about the leader and the Civ again because it was kind of rambling and incoherent when I first did it, partly because I'd had trouble with recording it, um, and I'd already uh, done the spiel. I think probably talked about where I was going to move um, the scout and where I was thinking about settling and all that stuff, and then I think I might have even done the first turn and then checked the recording, and yeah, it wasn't working. That happened twice. So I think I was probably beginning to lose the will a bit by the time I actually got around to doing this. Okay, so let's see. First thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're playing as Ragnar here, but let's look at the settings first in your. Oh, fuck's sake. So I'm not allowed to use the function keys because that messes things up apparently. So settings? It's in here, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Ragnar Vikings, aggressive, financial, deity. So yeah, I've played another game since. I don't have the starting save anymore, but I've still got the world builder, which I will post with the game, probably on the forums. But yeah, it's fractal. Um, which is pretty much always what I play because fractal means it could be Pangea, it could be two or three different constants, could be isolation, could be semi-isolation, we don't know. That's where the fun comes from for me. Like exploring is one of the bits that I really enjoy. So why deny yourself that by playing a map that is either a Pangea or someone's posted it on the forums and said that it's isolation. I that doesn't especially appeal to me. I mean, I like both types of game, but I just um, don't want to know on turn zero what it is particularly. Yeah, so everything else normal. Choose religions. I always played that because otherwise, it doesn't really affect the game. But I like the fact that you don't always get a Buddhist and a Hindu block because the two religions or two first religions to be founded are almost invariably the ones that get spread. the most. Yeah. Okay, so the leader, Ragnar. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not. This is it, isn't it? That's Wikipedia. Where are the people? Anyway, he's a good leader. Um, Basically because he is financial, and pretty much anybody who is financial is going to be better than most, because the extra commerce on any plot which has at least two commerce is extremely powerful. Um, I personally prefer philosophical. I think it's a bit more flexible, and I think it can help a little bit earlier than financial can. Like maths bulb to help with speed up a construction rush, or just to be able to chop out more horse archers. You can get an earlier academy. In fact, academies, I think, as a rule, are a bit crap unless you're philosophical, because bulbing is normally just better. Um, but they're much easier to get. And then early on, you're getting sort of 50% science on all the commerce in your capital, and that's probably where most of the commerce is coming from. So, yeah, you don't get 50% extra commerce on your, sort of if you're working coast or if you're working riverside cottages early on, like you do with financial. But I think you probably get more out of it. I think you probably get more of a sort of research boost from Academy early on than you do from the extra commerce. Maybe reasonable people could differ on this. Like, financial is an awesome trait. It's unquestionably one of the best too. Aggressive, on the other hand, pretty poor. That being said, I still quite enjoy it, and it does often help. It just tends to help less than other traits. I mean, so yeah, you see you've got free combat one for melee and gunpowder units. Sorry, I'm going to talk a bit here because, unlike Lane and Henrik, you don't already know pretty much what I think of these traits. So I know they kind of skip over this bit a bit, but yeah, I've got my soapbox and I tend to use it. Yeah, so combat one for melee and gunpowder. So yeah, it helps barb defense because warriors are stronger. And you will probably want to be fog busting with warriors at least a lot in most games. Some debate as to whether archery is ever helpful. I've stopped going for it. I've been persuaded that it isn't particularly helpful. The other thing that aggressive does in terms of your warriors is that you can take advantage of your half-price barracks. So you go for a barracks first, and then every warrior that you build in that city is combat one and has the XP necessary to be immediately promoted to cover. And they cover warriors are much more survivable against barb archers than just your sort of basic warrior. So that can be really nice. Problem is, you really need sort of a plains hill settle for that, otherwise it's a bit too slow. I think I probably talk about that actually in the game. Yeah, it's too slow to get your first warriors out, so you can't really fog bust. I mean, I also like aggressive for axe rushes because it makes your axe stronger. That's rarely a thing on Dirty. In fact, my first Dirty win was with an axe rush, but that was a Nobles Club game where it had been kind of set up for that, and I don't think I've done it since. I do like it for construction rushes as well because, and this is where I actually think it's a bit better than some people say. The nice thing about aggressive and to a lesser extent protective is not the promotion that they give you, but the fact that they make it easier to get the subsequent ones. And the thing with an axe rush, or construction rush, is you build a barracks and your axes can immediately be promoted to shock, meaning your stack is much less vulnerable to other axes and to swords. Also, spears are only going to be 2 XP from formation. It's very easy to get a medic. It's not that difficult to get a medic too. And again, this is really nice when you draft because barracks and theocracy means your rifles have 2 XP, and instead of being promoted to combat 1, which they already have, they can get promoted to pinch, and that makes them a lot stronger than that makes them often stronger than the AI rifles that they've found that have been built sort of conventionally, and also to some extent mitigates their weakness against grenadiers. So I do really enjoy it when drafting, and that's sort of pure protective as well. Um, a rifle with city garrison 1, drill 1, and pinch is maybe not quite as good as just a combat 1 pinch drafted rifle, but you know they're still nice, and they do make drafting, I think, sort of appreciably better. Yeah, okay. So also you've got the cheap barracks, which I've already talked about. That could be quite nice for an early rush and for barb defense, but it becomes pretty marginal mid game. Cheap dry dock. Yeah, I quite like dry docks as a building. Basically because I mean it's partly the fact that they what do they do? Yeah. So yeah, they speed up construction of water units. Nice. Um, and they also give 4 XP. So along with theocracy, or vassalage, I suppose, in principle. That means that you can get 6 XP boats, which means they could be promoted to, I can't remember, it's flanking, I think, isn't it? And then navigation 1. And the thing in this game, I think particularly on Deity, is that fighting at sea is mainly about running away, and avoiding fights, because the AI is always going to be able to outproduce you, unless you've got so many more cities than them, in which case, you know, whatever, right? You've already won the game. Um, and being able to get sort of +1 movement on your boats can really help, particularly if you also get circumnavigation, which is generally not very hard to get on maps where it's important, and your boats can move 2 tiles more than the AIs. I don't think I've ever seen the AI promote navigation 1. I think they always just go down the combat line for their ships. I'd be wrong on that, but Um, so yeah, I do like this. It's just that you don't need very many because you're probably not going to have that many of your cities building boats. Um, it's not that expensive anyway. 120 hammers by that point. Um, and so I think it's just, it's kind of nice, but it's not a particularly big deal. Um, and I guess the thing I find with aggressive is that it's a military trait, obviously, but it's a lot less flexible than the other sort of military traits, probably with the exception of protective. So charismatic and imperialistic make it easier to get promotions on any unit, and not just your melee and gunpowder units, either through the reduced promotion costs that you get with charismatic, um, or the fact that you just get a lot more great generals with imperialistic, and therefore you can use those to get promotions on siege and also mounted, um, which means that uh, they're just both better than aggressive, where you're using cannons, horse archers, cuirassiers, which, to be honest, are probably, well, cannons and catapults. And quite frankly, they're probably the 4 best ways of breaking out, and aggressive doesn't help an enormous amount with any of those. And then with these traits also, the sort of not the benefits which are not purely military are just better. So imperialistic is probably going to save you more hammers on settlers than aggressive will on barracks, because settlers are just more expensive. Okay, maybe the 3 city horse archer rush, the 75 hammers that you save on 3 barracks is better than, I don't know, 60 odd hammers that you save on two settlers, but by the time you're getting to like, Gracier and you're building, say, 6+ cities, imperialistic has just saved you loads more hammers and has potentially got new city sites that you otherwise wouldn't have got. You being able to build settlers quicker, so it's just better. And charismatic, okay, so it doesn't directly save hammers, but the extra happiness that you get from it indirectly boosts production because you can work more tiles because you can grow your cities bigger, and you can also it's like a free whip as well. And it also, I suppose, indirectly helps. Well, it also helps with commerce, right? The same reason that you can grow your cities more, work more tiles, and generally, actually, and this is a big weakness with, I suppose, traits which help military, in a military sense, generally, is that it means you just get to the military tech earlier, and you can attack earlier. And the earlier you attack, the fewer units the AI has, the fewer units it is upgraded, the lower the cultural defenses, all that sort of thing. And I think, sort of generally in the game, economic techs are because as a rule, I would rather attack, say, 2 or 3 turns earlier with fewer promotions. Um, but anyway, he's got good traits overall. Finn is like so good that you have that. It doesn't really matter too much what the other trait is. The leader's going to have above average traits. And although aggressive isn't great, I don't think it's a bad pairing with financial because one weakness of financial is it doesn't help you production early on. So I think, aggressive in a way complements it better than say spiritual or organized, even if uh, as individual traits they're both, I think, better than aggressive. But you have something like financial organized on Darius, and it's just like it's a bit overkill on the commerce boost. It does nothing hammer wise for quite a while. Okay, so that's Ragnar. What about the Vikings? I can just click on that, can't I? Yeah. Okay, so the uniques. So I mean, I have to be honest and say that I don't think I haven't played Ragnar on Deity. That's definitely true. Basically, I'm trying to go through all the civilizations and win on Deity with them. Um, so at the moment, I'm only playing civs that I've not played on Deity or have played on Deity and lost. Um, so I don't think I really have any experience of using the uniques on Deity. That being said, I really like the idea of the trading post. Basically, it gives navigation 1 for units built in the city, and well, it replaces a lighthouse. Um, to me, that's really good because, as I said, most of naval warfare is avoiding fighting. So just having faster ships really helps. Makes it easier to run away, so you can get out of range of enemy ships. And even better, it makes it easier to hide in cities. I can imagine maps where you're attacking a civ on another continent, and the extra movement that you get from the trading post is the difference between being able to get from the city or fort on your home continent to the sort of your newly captured city without having to spend a turn exposed on the ocean. And that means that you don't have to waste hammers on frigates. Um, it won't be helpful on all maps, but I think it could be pretty great on some maps, which I think makes it a really good unique building. Partly because, to be honest, if you compare it with other unique buildings, there aren't many which have a particularly significant impact. There are some that are really great, but most are a bit meh. And I guess the other thing to say about the faster boats here is that in a way you're on a map where you want to get optics. It's potentially a little bit like getting optics 1 or 2, maybe even 3, depending on um, the map turns earlier because it just means that your caravel is going to be able to meet the other continent quicker, and that can really help actually. It can be the difference between trading compass for something or trading optics for something and not. So yeah, I don't have any experience of it, but I think that sounds pretty great actually compared with most unique buildings. In terms of the unique unit, the Berserker, so it replaces a mace, and I think the big thing is it's amphibious and it's got plus 10% city attack, which I don't think a mace has. I know where I'm making. Ah, here it is. Yeah, okay. So it's got plus 10% city attack as well. And the amphibious is the big thing. I think it's a fun unit. I think possibly both Lane and Henrik have done videos where they beelined military science and upgraded these guys into grenadiers. And then, yeah, took lots of coastal cities from the AI. I don't think I'm going to be doing that because I need a sort of a particular map. So map with um, where the AI has lots of coastal cities for it to work. I wonder if Henrik did it on a high sea levels map, possibly. And we don't have that here. Well, we might do. I don't know. But we don't. It's not high sea level. So there's no reason for me to think that there'll be lots of coastal cities. I also probably not good enough at the game to be able to do it anyway. Um, so yeah, I think it's quite fun, and in addition to the amphibious, which I suppose also helps if you're attacking across rivers, you get the bonus on city attacks. It is quite a lot better than a mace, I guess. Problem is, maces just aren't very good units. I think I've definitely seen the light from Henrik's videos that knights are just better. I still build maces quite a lot, because I go cannons plus medieval junk quite a lot. Um, but then you just end up with random stuff because you're building it or you're getting it one turn to completion and then not finishing it. So you don't have to pay for it until you've done your until you're ready, and also you've probably done your civic switches so you can get promotions on them. So I end up building quite a lot, but they're not especially good. It's the cannons that do the heavy lifting, and quite frankly, having 10% city attack when you're fighting a bunch of redlined units is not that exciting. But I think it's a fun unit. I think it feels quite Viking-y, which is good because honestly, I think the uniques are really just there to give a slightly different feel to the civs. Because with a few exceptions, some of the really overpowered ones, they don't have a lot of impact on the game compared with the base units. Um, okay, so the other thing to talk about is the starting tech. So fishing, hunting, yeah, they're not great. Um, I, I don't think they're terrible either because you're never going to be more than one tech from your food. If that was, say, mysticism or even like the wheel, if you end up with um, animal husbandry start, you're a long way from being able to improve your food, which is quite painful. Um, and you're not, so you're going to be able to improve your food after teching one tech at most, so sort of agriculture or um, animal husbandry. I mean, you've also got one of the pottery prerequisites, so you don't need agriculture. You're not too far from pottery, but you are quite a long way from bronze working. I mean, I think the real problem is not that they're rubbish tags. I mean, fishing is obviously very useful if you have a coastal start, um, or can be very useful. And hunting, I think, is good because means you start with a scout, and the scout is better than a warrior because you can scout more. They're better for fog busting because uh, they don't die as easily. So yeah, you're, it helps with stopping barbs spawning. Um, it's also nice to be able to build more scouts for fog busting on sun maps, and of course your starting scout also means that yeah you can a bit more information about where you settle your first city, which, and all of this can actually be very nice. Yeah, as I said, it's just they're cheap. I think they're the two cheapest tax, so they're not wonderful. I guess that's to some extent offset by being financial, which normally means you can catch up a bit. I guess the other things about hunting is you quite often want to go archery, um, if not for barbs, for your neighbour, because you get attacked early on deity sometimes. Um, or at least you have to be ready for the possibility, because you can't. If someone starts plotting and you've not even teched archery, you can be, yeah, pretty screwed. Okay, I've wittered on for long enough now, and I promise if I ever uh, do this again, I will not tell you what I think about financial or aggressive again. Can't make the same promise with the other trades, but anyway. Okay, yes, we're going to start now. So I will weld this bit onto the front of the video that we're already, well, video of the game. Um, so I've talked about this effectively to myself already twice today. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to move here, the settler. And the reason for that, well, there's a few reasons. One, I think there's not a lot of land here. I think from the shape of it, could be wrong, it could go, or stringy, but I don't think there's very much. I think that's the most likely, and therefore I want to block some land. I also want to fog bust a bit more with the capital culture. You don't get much out of the culture in terms of fog busting if you buy the coast. What else did I say about it? Okay, so there's these two mysterious tiles here. I think it's a good chance that that's either copper or horses, and that's either copper or iron. I move here, I just keep that one, and I can put a second city there to get that. If it's copper, and if it's not, it's going to be a long time. Or I'm probably going to get iron working for a long time. And who knows, might not be. But point is, I can get that quite easily. Second city. What else did I say about it? I think yes. So, like improving seafood early when you don't have to. Basically, you pay 30 hammers for a workboat, and it adds 2 food to the clan, which means that when you're building workers and sellers, which are your most important builds early on, you get an extra 2 food hammers, and you've already paid 30 hammers for that privilege. That takes 15 turns before you'll even break even. If you contrast that with the fact that I can mine that, and for 4 worker turns, I suppose I only get 3 food hammers because it's gem mine, which I shouldn't complain about, obviously. It's 1 more food hammer than that, unimproved, and 1 less than it improved, and I get that with worker turns rather than hammers. The other things were, I get that, and I get a bit of river, a bit whatever. I don't think it's sort of clear cut by any means, but I just wanted to block land. I think that's the main thing. Getting the extra gem miners in the capital is kind of nice as well, because it's unclear that there's any other food up here that you could work anytime soon. Probably not, given this jungle, and that is a big drawback of moving here. Yeah, I think this is wood rather than jungle, so I think there's actually quite a good chance that the jungle belt's not that thick. You've got a bit here, you've got a bit here, and it goes off up here. I wonder if I should have moved myself there. I think I decided I didn't need to on the basis that I don't think there's much up there. And I think I wanted to see if I was right about jungle. I think actually the reality is I didn't think about it very much. I've been talking for a long time, and I just thought, fuck it, and moved it here. So I want to repeat that. So yeah, we went there. I'm just going to check it's recording again. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. So here we go.
Should have done that. I've already done this a few times. Forgotten, yeah, looking at demographics. Yeah, so Mansa's not in the game, and like Hammurabi. I mean, I don't think I get a huge amount out of that information, to be honest. I mean, if Mansa's in the game, you either meet him because he's on your continent, or he's on the other continent, which is potentially a problem because he speeds up the tech pace because he trades with everyone. But you know, you probably still want to meet the other continent as quickly as possible. And knowing Mansa's there probably doesn't really change how you approach the game. Sadly, Hammurabi's not in the game because he's AI, so it's nice to see him. About how you can work out who's got coastal starts from this. Not very useful here, given I have moved away from the coast, and basically the only thing you get out of it is knowing about the Great Library. Like how many other AIs are likely to be able to build the Great Library. Okay. Yeah, one other thing I probably should have said. I don't like the fact that I have had to move here, wasted a turn, and it's also going to take a turn longer to improve the corn. So the wheat. But I think I can live with that. I'm going to have to now, because I've moved. I think I also mentioned something about considering the Planeswalkers. Definitely really like Planeswalker. I would trade that Planeswalker here in a heartbeat. So although you sort of look at this start and think, yeah, it's really nice. Well, where we like corn, so yeah, lovely. One of the strongest tiles in the game. Yeah, it's really good. Not gonna commerce bottleneck, but I don't know. So the early isn't amazing, basically because that's a 3 food hammer tile once improved, and that's a 3 food hammer tile once improved. Whereas if you had like another so even like dry corn or wet rice or whatever, you'd be able to get going a lot quicker. I don't think this is like an amazing start. It's obviously a good one, but I think I prefer production to commerce. I think in commerce you need enough, but you don't need loads. I think this is maybe you don't need both of them. Let's get going. Definitely gonna go agriculture, but want to see if I can meet anyone. Get the 5% discount. Oh, elephants. Nice. Oh, okay. This is quite nice. Oh. Right. Okay, well, got my 5% discount. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not great, is it? Okay, well, nice to see. Right. On a hill. Yeah, mean, that isn't good, is it? I mean, the only thing is that yeah, he's going to attack someone, but hopefully it won't be me. There's a lot of AI he doesn't like. Oh, he's gonna have elephants, isn't he? Hmm. Hmm. I think I need to. Oh, I think it's more important to find out more about nice his situation than it is. He can have strategic resources. Maybe I need to find out what it is. Oh, water's gonna pop, aren't they? Oh, I wonder if I'm gonna get bounced. Should I go there? Should I go here? Maybe. No, am I just gonna get bounced there? I'm like, won't I? Much more annoying. Where is he? Is he on here? Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Since I'm not gonna be able to tell what he's got yet anyway, am I? Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, I should have checked what I got. Well, I've got that within range, but who cares about that? I'm gonna be able to work that for a long time. Cow. Hmm. That's quite nice. Yeah. Just in the jungle, isn't it? Not sure how interesting that is. That way. Hmm. Oh, I don't know. Anyway. Ooh. Is that an island? Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's promising. Still. It's not very big, does it? Oh, is that tundra? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's someone down there. Because it doesn't look like there's anyone over here. Oh, has he met anyone? No. Guess he's gonna go animal husbandry. Okay. Is that you, Shaka? Oh, not religion. Maybe we can be friends. No. Oh dear. Oh.
farmers, pray that your summers be wet and your winters clear.
So I think the next one is quite clearly mining, isn't it? Mm. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you gotta get those, haven't you? Then, I mean, that's just such a nice style. Food neutral, loads of commerce. Okay. Heal and then move again. It's not really any of that. This just isn't very useful, is it? Some jungle. Hmm. Hmm. Um. Hmm. I think that might be unhealthy immediately. I'd have to work out what. Has he met anyone? No. Hmm. No one down there, is there? Hmm. Okay. Thanks there. Hmm. Shouldn't forget about Fopper thing, actually. Ordinarily, I think you can make a decent case for just sticking. Well, you would at least want to think about just putting Scout on there to stop jungle growing on it, but I think I honestly didn't think about that really, but I think I made the right decision probably into thinking about just trying to work out what's going on around here. I think I should have gone there. Shouldn't have moved them there. I should have moved here because I can't see that tile. And they're floodplains, aren't they? But yeah, I'm not going to be able to tell. So I think we should be able to tell from the tile yields whether he's got like a strategic resource. I think here. Yeah, I can focus more usefully here. Okay. Yeah. These two are on focus then. Maybe I'm better off allowing maybe those on are busted. This is closer to me, more annoying. Got that. Vision of this. That hell. Hey, he's got. should have thought about going barracks, but no. I think I already had, actually. I have a feeling I mentioned in one of my previous attempts to record this that you can go barracks first with aggressive and pretty nice, because then you can just immediately produce, well, then you can produce warriors that are combat 1 cover, and they're significantly more survivable than your you're just unpromoted warrior. But the trouble is that's very hard without enough early production, and I just don't have. In terms of hammers in particular, I think like if you can got plain sail settle going, barracks first would be really nice. It's just not going to work here. It's going to be too slow. So yeah, I think I was right for a warrior, and I do think I thought about it. Okay. Yeah, and just I think you just work that, don't you? Is there any reason to? Any particular reason? Yeah, I mean, it's combobulated by Shaka. I really thought about this, have I? I wonder if there was any value in. I'm gonna work with warrior because it's very slow, isn't it? No, I think it's fine.
The man who moved the
Being
mountains
said,
by carrying away small stones.
I am aware of just how slow I'm playing. I need to stop and yeah, work out what I'm gonna do. It's not about anyone. Yeah, but I'm just gonna set bombs working without really thinking what I'm gonna try and do. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave it there. With this thinking offline, maybe another time. Come back to it, check recordings worked and everything.